Yo, what up, everybody? It's me, Trickster Shadow, Variety Killer Man with over 6,000 hours in the game. And today we're going to be reviewing Clammy Jones's Nurse gameplay. I haven't watched this game. I have no idea how this game is going to turn out. But we're going to go through and try to critique as many things as possible, tell them as many things that they could do better as we can. And let's just get into it. They're spawning in on Sanctum of Wrath. If you don't know how Sanctum of Wrath is, let's rotate a little bit and see exactly where they spawn. Okay. If you don't know how Sanctum of Wrath spawns, it's a choke point map. It's shaped like an eye, so you can imagine it being a giant eye like this. Let me just very shittily draw it a little bit more. There we go. And we got Clammy spawning in like right here. And so due to the 3 tile rule, if you don't know what the 3 tile rule is, I did a video about it very recently. I guess not recently anymore, but basically no survivor is going to spawn in within 3 tiles of you. And so there could be a survivor spawning in the other corner based on Clammy spawn, but most likely you're going to have 3 survivors on the other side of the map. And so for the best possible way of finding somebody, ideally we're going to rotate towards the other side of the map just based off where we spawned. And let's see what Clammy does. I'm curious what kind of perks Clammy is running as well and what add-ons. Let's take a look. All right. Okay. So we're running Shadowborn. Shadowborn isn't really a useful perk. Many people run it just for the increased FOV, make Nurse a little bit easier when she's blinking around. Having that extra FOV can sometimes help you spot people, and it's easier to take in all the information that you're seeing very quickly. Infectious is very good for slugging, especially because Nurse is very good at getting hits and downing people, and so slugging is going to be very good for getting pressure. And since it appears that Clammy is not running any pressure perks like Corrupt or Pop or anything like that, slugging is going to be the main form of stopping people from doing gens. We also got Nurse's Calling to zero in on people when they're healing, not a bad perk, and Barbecue and Chili to find people. The only thing this build really lacks, this build has 3 tracking perks and it has Shadowborn. This build kind of lacks early game, finding somebody early game, and it lacks if the survivors decide to immerse. That can be a bit difficult as well. And so, if anything, I'd recommend maybe swapping out nurses for whispers, just because if people start immersing, it's a bit difficult to find them with nurse. Just because you're looking at the ground so often and you're so slow at default, just moving around. But this isn't a bad build. This is actually a pretty good build for Nurse. I personally don't really like Shadowborn just because it doesn't do anything, but that's just me. And then it appears we're running. Oh, I forget the name of these. This is double blink recovery, I believe. Fatigue recovery. I mean, yep. Catatonic Boy's Treasure, which is the pine cone, and then we got Ataxic Respiration. So both of these make it to where the fatigue after a blink isn't nearly as bad. So not great add-ons, but it's not bad either. It's definitely not the strongest add-ons. The strongest add-ons for nurse would probably be recovery speed on your charges or distance. Okay, so Clammy is immediately going to the shack, and we got 2 people that spawned here immediately. It's very good. So within the first 20 seconds of the game, already finding somebody that's very good. It appears we have a Dwight that is a Pega. Oh, you're leaving the Dwight. It's respectable. So the reason why Clammy left that Dwight there is because obviously the Dwight's just trying not to play the game, and so Clammy is trying to get a decent game out of this, and so just leaving him for somebody that will actually play the video game. Which was respectable. Bit of an ambitious swing, but it happens. That was a good blink. Yeah, okay, so these are very hard to, another ambitious swing. These are very hard to blink through, these idols that are all around the sanctum. And so what I would suggest is this first blink is not bad. Maybe just wait for your blink to recover, because if you can recover your blink and then just walk towards them through this middle area, you'll be screwing them over a lot more. Because when you go into your recovery, that allows them to get into these other tiles and allows them to gain distance. And so if somebody ever goes between these tiles, I would just, or these little idols, I would just wait for your blink to recover just because they're so hard to blink through. They're a bit misleading, their hitboxes. I believe they just went to the tile, didn't they? They're behind, no, they're at the window. Okay, yeah, that's just a bit of tracking, I believe. Let's see if we can see it. I believe they went to the window. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, so it's a bit hard to see, but you can see it when Clammy's walking up. Where is it? So you can see the scratch marks are kind of fading. There's scratch marks right here that are kind of fading off the wall. What the Kate did is she went to this tile. This tile is shaped like this, and then there's uh, something like this, and then there's a palette right here. There's a window right here. And so what the Kate did is she went over here and went around. I can't really see that because it's black. She went over here and went around, and she's most likely right here. But Clammy lost line of sight of her and didn't know where she went. And so that's just kind of that's just bad tracking. That's really all it is. But it happens, especially with Nurse. When you look down, you sometimes lose track of people. But I just wanted to identify where exactly she was. All right, then Clammy guessed that they went that way, but they didn't. All right, now I wonder what's gonna happen now that they don't have anybody. What's Clammy gonna do? Is there somebody up here? There is. Nice. I don't think you needed to commit that much of a blink, but I guess that works. Get a hit on the Dwight. Are you gonna spread out pressure or kick the gen? It's not a bad decision, but I probably wouldn't have kicked the gent myself. I would have probably just try to get some hits off, because if you can get a down off, then that'd be a lot better. That gen is 99, and typically when gens are at least close to 99, it doesn't matter so much to kick them, because if the gen pops, the gen pops. It'd be better to get it down very quickly. We going after the Dwight. Dwight then jumped down. Going back to the gen. And then the sprint burst. Oh, that hurts. Yeah, so she waited with her sprint burst. The Dwight went up. Wow. You are very greedy for the gen. Okay, so I wouldn't do that, personally. So this is one critique. This is just how I play Nurse. So as soon as I see this Dwight here, I wouldn't use my second blink. So typically when you're playing Nurse, you want to use your first blink for distancing and your second blink for fine tuning where the survivor is. The survivor is very far away. You're never going to catch up to them with your second blink. And so I would go into fatigue and walk up these stairs and follow him while he's running, and then use my blinks to catch up to him. And you'll have a lot better of a time doing that. It'll be a lot easier, and they'll go down a lot faster instead of you blinking to the corner, as you do, and they just keep on running. So that's what I would do personally. Good blinks, good blinks. All right, and then slugging, of course, because this person's right here. Good patience, waiting for your blinks to recover. Nice. Might have been a mess up there, blinking into the rock, but she ran back into you. So it worked out. Good blinks through the rocks, nice. Got another infectious proc on the heal. Person tried to stun the Nurse, interesting. Being nice, wow. So Clammy could have gone for the 3 slug, but didn't. But of course, this is good as well. This is the first hook of the game, so maybe playing a little bit more safe. It's either being nice or playing safe. Either way, I'll shock them. All right, are we gonna go for this? We are gonna go for this. Nice. All right, good patience. Didn't panic blink. Gonna blink to the hook. No. All right. Pick up. All right. It's not a bad play. All right. It may have enough time to hook. They're going to save right before Clammy puts on hook, I imagine. Yep. So that's 2 hooks in. 2 gens done. It's not great, but everybody's injured. That's a bit of a panic blink. It's a consequence of being a bit anxious with your blinks. I hit the borrowed time. That's not too bad. Clammy remembered that there was somebody back there, but didn't capitalize on the information. Down that person, Clammy could tunnel. There's no decisive in this game. There's no object. Or not object. There's no obsession. So you can know that there's no obsession in the game if there's none of the little like tendrils around any of the portraits. That means there's no obsession perks, and if there's no obsession perks, there's no DS. So, good tunnel. Very, very greedy. So one thing that I do notice with Clammy's nurse gameplay, and it's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily great either, is Clammy is very greedy with her blinks. This, I would not be doing this personally. It works out, so like props to you, but personally, I would not do that with my blinks. If I saw this, I would probably not blink on them. And the reason why is since there's 2 people here, I want to be able to recover my blinks as fast as possible. And so what I would do is I would probably go into fatigue and start walking closer to them. And if they run one way, then I'd quickly blink, hit them down, and then be able to recover my second blink again, and then quickly blink and hit them down. It'd be a lot safer to play blinking through these rocks with your second blink is a bit risky, just because of how hitboxes are in DBD, and it may not work out if they decide to juke or if they decide to dead hard. It may not work out as well, and so it's a bit of a risky play, but it pays off. So props to you. But for safer nurse play, and typically safer play is what will lead you to have more consistent games, it would be just fatigue at the rock, and then you wait for your second blink to recover, and then go after them. But we're going to slug now, I believe. Yeah, we are going to slug. Wait for the second blink. Nice. All right. Ooh, what is this Dwight doing? Again, being patient, waiting for the second blink. That's very good. And the second blink to confirm no dead hard. So this was a mistake here. But this goes again with being greedy. As soon as I lost line of sight, so Clammy ends up blinking into this rock. As soon as you lose line of sight with Nurse, in my opinion, you should just immediately go into fatigue. Because it's better for you to recover from your fatigue faster and gain your blink back faster than it is to blink again and then have a longer fatigue and take longer to get your charges back. But to be fair, Clammy has had some very greedy plays to work out, and so it's not a bad play style. If you can just gamer on people, it's better. Clammy sees the last person right there. Clammy could just end the game right now. Oh no, it was the slug. It wasn't somebody else. So the slugs yell when they're on the ground as well. Oh, they unbreak a build in Clammy's face. All right. See that. And so Clammy got confused because they unbreak build. And then that's just a blink. Can you see? I think you can see. Yeah, that's just an ambitious blink. I'm not gonna fault Clammy on that too bad because it is a bit it is a bit like anxiety inducing when you see somebody unbreakable in your face when you're thinking that you're gonna get a confirmed hook, so that's not that bad. If she would have kept on going, that might not have hit, but it's alright. Alright, so Clammy is in a very interesting position. I'm curious what Barbecue is going to show. I think I know what Barbecue is going to show. Alright, so this is a very interesting position for Clammy to be in. Because Clammy has 3 survivors. I don't know if you can tell, but there's 3 survivors on the other side of the map. and we got this survivor behind us on a hook. And so if Clammy wanted to, Clammy could be very mean. Since this is a choke point map, Clammy could just sit on the top of here, on the top of the main structure, and every time somebody goes by the main structure, just blink down, hit them, and go back up to the main structure again. That way you can keep on stacking injuries and keep on stacking downs and be very, very mean. But I'm curious to see what Clammy's going to do. I'm assuming Clammy's not going to do that. We'll see. But if you want to play a little bit more defensively, that's a very good way to do that. It's a very good way to stack injuries and kind of freak out people a little bit more. All right. Good positioning. Good positioning. Didn't even have to use a blink there. I have no idea what Dwight's doing. Dwight's being a bit pega, to be honest with you. But I like this. There was no panic blinking here. So Clammy sees that they're going around this, and instead of blinking, they just position themselves at the middle of this loop. They see that there's no scratch marks on the side, so they go back around. Hit him. So because this is a 50-50 tile, and because you're a nurse, if you can determine exactly where the person is, then you can just blink on their position. And by walking, you're depriving them of any distance gain, because if they do keep on running, you can just blink on them again. That's very, very good. Because not at every pallet, you don't need to constantly blink as a nurse. Sometimes you just need to get in the right position to make it to where the survivor has as few possibilities as possible to try to break a line of sight. And you just blink down after you're in the right position. All right, so Clammy has another hook. If I were Clammy, I would blink back to the first hook. Make sure that the person is nice and cozy. Clammy is kind of, oh, breaking the pallet. Okay. I guess preventing the lithe. That Dwight is going out. I don't know why that Dwight pressed join match, to be honest with you. Because it seemed like he didn't want to play. I don't know why he swung there, but it's fine. I've noticed a trend. Really, that's the main thing. There's been some like anxious blinks, and then a lot of ambitious swings. Really, the main thing, and it's just something that's hard to work on. It's just trying to be a bit more measured with your hits. Try not to constantly swing at everything, because that does eat at your time. Because that increases the fatigue time, and it makes it harder for you to get around the map, harder for you to win chases as fast. And so that's really the main critique I have of Clammy's gameplay. Clammy also plays very greedy with their blinks, using their second blink to zero in on somebody's position, even when it's kind of far away or on the other side of obstacles that may be a bit hard to blink through. But it's working out for Clammy. But really the main thing is just the ambitious swings. All right. And Clammy is not going after the Cheryl, because Cheryl may have DS. All right, so this. Let's watch the back again. I kind of want to see that again. So that was a bit of an overblink. What I would do if I was Clammy is, so you're blinking over here. I would blink to like just in front of this rock right here, either just in front of this rock or to the pallet. Just because you want to keep line of sight as much as possible. I see that I think you looked down a little bit, didn't you? I don't know if you looked down a little bit or not. Because if you blink just in front of the rock or just in front of the pallet, it makes it to where if this Steve, if he kept on running through this pallet, you'd still have line of sight on him. By blinking past the pallet, you're kind of putting yourself in a worse position. And so that was a bit of an overblink. That's fine. Another ambitious swing, of course, leading to a longer chase. Nice, decent blinks. All right. I'm guessing you're going to confirm the hook. Yeah. All right. So did you only see one person on there? Let me run that back again. You only see one person over there. I wouldn't go after this person, to be honest with you. That is a confirmed read, but because you only see one person, I would check this side of the map that you're on before you go over there. Because you know one person is on that side of the map, but you don't know where the other person is because there's 3 people in the match currently. And so there's probably somebody else that's closer to the hook. So you most likely don't have to go over there. We'll see. If there is somebody on this side of the map, they'll save within the next 30 seconds, I imagine. So we'll see what happens. Oh, there they were. Yeah, they were doing a gen over there. We're gonna save the next like 10, 15 then. Because I did that gen. Alright, so these survivors don't really know how to play against nurse. Typically when you're against nurse, you want to try to break line of sight as much as possible and just constantly keep on running. So what Clammy does here, let's look at this again. So Clammy sees this person, blinks, they ran away. Clammy has seen the scratch marks go into this tile. Clammy goes just outside of this tile, trying to gain, put themselves. This is a really good position to blink to, so props for that. Because this position that Clammy blinked to, they have visibility of the entire tile, so they can see exactly where the person is. But again, this is another greedy blink. At this moment, I would have just gone into recovery and then get my 2 blinks back. But Clammy blinks all the way to the end of their blink charge on their second blink and manages to hit. So it's good blinks. Very greedy, but it's working out. The reason why even though it's working out for Clammy, the reason why I say like these are very greedy is because if there's a good survivor that knows how to play against nurse and knows how to juke nurse blinks, that may not work out so well, being so greedy with your blinks. Playing a bit safer will work a lot more against good people. But if you're playing against people that aren't as experienced at going against nurse, then it's fine. So the second confirmed dead. There's 6 hooks in the game. We got 1 person over there. I don't know if there's somebody else on the other side of that gen as well. Nice. Blinking up here just for more visibility. That's good. Messed up with the tile. You see blood on the ground. Are you going to follow the blood? I'm not going to follow the blood. I'm going to regress the gen. Alright. So you know that the person's on the other side of this loop, right? No? Amy, what are you doing? I know you saw that blood. Yeah, I'd have seen that blood. Let's look at that blood and see if we can determine where the person is. So this is a messed up first blink because of how the tile is structured. Probably blinked into a wall, and so it's short blinked. So we see blood. It looks like, based on the pooling patterns, we see a puddle of blood right here, and there's a puddle of blood just under Clammy's nurse. And there's 2 puddle of bloods right here. And so I'm guessing this person is just off to the left with Iron Will. So this is Hex Bad Internet. We're going to check after the match to see if they have Iron Will. I'm guessing that they were just on the other side of that wall, right next to Clammy. Clammy ends up leaving the area, trying to find somebody that's confirmed on a gen. I don't know if you'll find anybody on this side. They're probably still over here, in all honesty. I would not doubt that. Yeah, they touched the gen again, so they are here. There was somebody with Iron Will over here. There we go. Full of blood. Alright. Let's run that back. So let's see what happens. Clammy sees this person crossing over. So what I would do if I was Clammy is I would just W game them down. This is a bit of a weird tile anyways. So I would follow them around this corner, and they got the pallet right here. If they go to the pallet, you can just blink on the other side of the pallet. If they throw it down, you can use your second blink to blink back to the other side and hit them down to where there's nothing that they can do. By trying to blink to predict where they're going, you're putting the survivor in the power position to where they can pretty much do whatever. You end up messing up this blink here, which happens. But because you didn't go to this corner and watch them at the pallet, you're given a little bit more wiggle room to extend the chase a little bit more. That's what I do. Sometimes as a nurse, you don't even have to blink. You can just walk to a position, and then when you're in your exact position that you need to be in, then that's when you can zero in on people. So that's what I would do if I were you. Try to focus on like, okay, can I walk to a position to put myself in the best possible situation to where the survivor can't do as much? Like, try to think about things like that. Somebody left a Discord call, I guess. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. To where if you walk to the corner, you could have done this exact play. So the Steve is right there. Clammy, if Clammy would have just walked this corner to begin with, the Steve would have done the same thing most likely. Blink to the side of the pallet. Steve goes on the other side, throws it down. Use second blink to blink on the other side and hit it down. So that's what I would have done to begin with. Just walk to the corner and do that. Alright, gonna get on hook. Do we get our fourth barbecue stack? That's the real question. You may have 3 kills, but if you don't have your fourth barbecue stack, did you really win? Don't see anybody on barbecue, so there may be somebody nearby. I don't think they're over. I honestly don't. Yeah, I honestly don't think they're over here. I think you would have already seen them by now if they were. If I had to guess, they're either gonna be on the other corner of the map. Oh, why would they be on the other corner? They're not at the gazebo gen on this side of the map. I would guess that they're on this side, to be honest with you. And it looks like they're going on this side. I'm guessing that they would be in a locker. You didn't see them. So since they could be at a locker, they could be over here. They could be over here. They could be in this corner. I would go to this gen and see if there's any progress. If there's any progress in this gen, then they're on one of these 2 spots. If there's no progress, then they're confirmed in that corner. That's what I would think. So let's see. Where are they? Maybe they're not doing a gen. You never know. Some people are allergic to doing gens. It happens. I don't think there's any progress on the other gen. Is there any progress on this one? No. No progress in any gens. That's interesting. So the other person's just not playing the game. They're just waiting for the hatch. So since they're hatch gaming... Alright, so they were on this side of the map. So this person is just not doing anything. They're just waiting for the hatch. Ideally, you want to go after the healthy person, which it appears you are. And no, you are not. Going after Steve again. No obsession, so no tunneling. It's no DS. I would have tried to find the healthy person because the healthy person is obviously being very immersed. They're just hatch camping. They're trying to hatch camp. Does this end with them going through the hatch? I'd imagine so, unless you find them really fast. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, this is a pretty decent nurse game. I would say these survivors aren't really the best going against nurse, just because they didn't punish any of your greedy blinks. I would say if you're trying to become better with nurse, try to play a little bit more safe. While your greedy blinks did work out for you, they may not work against better survivors. So if you get to a low wall tile or to a rock tile, it's better just to recover your blinks so that you can double blink onto people and giving them very little chance to be able to do anything about it. Because that's what you need to do as nurse, is just try to put yourself in the position to where there's very little survivors can do. Try to be a little bit more measured with your blinks. Try not to be as ambitious. But besides that, I really can't complain. This is a very good nurse gameplay, and I think you did a really good job. That's really the only things I would say is just don't be as greedy and try to stop being as ambitious. But it seems to be working out for you. Not a bad nurse by any means. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this, of course, consider liking and subscribing. If you want to submit your own gameplay, I'm going to try to do this every Monday as much as I can. You can join my Discord, and there's a DBD VOD review channel. Just upload your VOD or upload your video of you playing, and I can try to review it and tell you what I think that you're doing wrong or I would do differently, and you can find out my perspective. And yeah, and thank you again, Clammy, for sending in your gameplay. Hopefully, at least some of this was useful in some way. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, night, or whatever. Bye bye.